Despite, nevertheless, and in spite of are transitional words and phrases used to express contrast or concession. They indicate that one idea is true or valid, even though another idea might seem to contradict it. Here's a breakdown of each, along with similar expressions and how to use them. 1. Despite, meaning, used to indicate that something happens or is true, even though there is something that might prevent it. Usage, followed by a noun, pronoun, or gerund, verb plying. Example, despite the rain, we went for a hike. Remember, think of despite as a way to show that circumstances didn't stop an action. #2, in spite of, meaning, similar to despite, it indicates that something happens or is true, even though there might be a reason against it. Usage, also followed by a noun, pronoun, or gerund. Example, in spite of her fear, she gave a speech. Remember, in spite of emphasizes overcoming obstacles or difficulties. 3. Nevertheless, meaning used to introduce a statement that contrasts with what has just been said, conveying that the second statement is true despite the first. Usage, usually followed by a clause, a subject, and a verb. Example, it was raining, nevertheless, we decided to go for a walk. Remember, think of nevertheless as a way to acknowledge the first point while affirming the second. Other similar expressions, nonetheless, similar in meaning to nevertheless. Example, the project was challenging, nonetheless, we completed it on time. Although, used to introduce a subordinate clause that contrasts with the main clause. Example, although it was late, she kept working. Even though, similar to although, emphasizing the contrast. Example, even though it was cold, we went outside. Yet indicates a contrast, often at the beginning of a sentence. Example, she was tired, yet she continued to work. Tips for remembering usage. Despite and in spite of. Think of these as introducing the reason or circumstance that doesn't prevent the main action. Nevertheless and nonetheless. Remember these as ways to acknowledge a contrast while affirming the next point. Although and even though. These can be used at the start of a sentence or clause to indicate contrast and are great for more complex sentences. Yet. Often used in a more literary or formal context, remember that it typically connects two contrasting ideas. Summary. These expressions help convey contrast in your writing and speech. To use them effectively, pay attention to whether they introduce phrases or clauses and practice using them in various sentences to become more comfortable with their meanings and applications.